Essa parte aqui de Toronto é uma parte bem turística, porque tem várias atrações turísticas diferentes. Ali a gente tem o Rogers Center, que é a casa do Blue Jays e que inclusive teve jogo hoje. Ali atrás, aqui a gente tem a CN Tower, o Ripley's Aquarium of Canada. Aí a gente está indo agora num lugar muito legal, que é a Steam Whistle Brewing, que é a cervejaria mais famosa aqui de Toronto. E a Steam Whistle fica no mesmo prédio do Railway Museum, que é o museu de transporte, de linhas de trem. E agora a gente vai lá conhecer. Vamos lá! Estamos aqui na frente da Steam Whistle, onde faremos o nosso tour para conhecer a fábrica e saber tudo mais sobre essa cerveja que é 100% de Toronto, 100% canadense e que você só encontra aqui em Toronto e aqui no Magali Viajante. Dois tipos diferentes de Steam Whistle. Essa daqui é a normal, essa daqui é o chopp normal da Steam Whistle, que você consegue encontrar em qualquer bar de Toronto. Esse aqui é o Steam Whistle Unfiltered, não é filtrado. E você pode ver a diferença de cor. Ela é bem diferente e essa daqui só vende aqui na Steam Whistle.
It's called Steam Whistle. It's a Pilsner. We only make one kind of beer, so it's a Czech German style Pilsner. We follow what's called the Bavarian purity laws. And they were created in the year 1516. And it basically states that you can only use 4 ingredients in your beer. Now also legally in Canada, you do not have to put your ingredients of the beer on your bottle. But on the back of ours, you can see, we list them all out for you. Barley, water, hops, and yeast. So what happens is that the first ingredient we use is barley. It comes from Saskatchewan, Canada. It's going to go into what's called here a mash tun, okay? We're going to boil it up with our spring water, which comes from also in Ontario. So it's going to create almost like an oatmeal-like consistency, okay? We're going to take this sort of oatmeal consistency, and take this tank here, which is called the water tun. So the water tun is going to strain our sort of barley liquid out, and then we actually separate it, take the liquid we have, and as you can see in this little thing here, I want to get close to that. Don't touch those high. Right. So that's the barley liquid, which is going into this giant brew kettle here. You can probably see it through here.
Oh!
You see it?
Yeah.
Right. So what's going to happen there is it's going to boil up, and then we're going to add our third ingredient, which is the hops. So hops are like the spice of the beer. Now our hops come from 3 different types. 2 are from Germany, and 1's from the Czech Republic. We're going to add it into the brew kettle, and it's going to create what's called wort. We're going to boil it up very, very hot. So your wort is like a broth almost, it's like a sugary, bitter broth. So what's going to happen is we're going to take it to the other side, and we're going to actually add the yeast, and we're going to fill that through the fermentation process. So let me go show you that. So this is how we fermentate the beer. So the yeast gets added, and the yeast is going to eat away all the sugars from the barley we created earlier. And it's going to create 2 things. One's alcohol, and then the other one is gas, so like bubbles in the beer. So it's a naturally carbonated beer. So that process first starts taking about 8 hours. This is about 5 to 7 days. And then we age it for 21 days on top of that. So from start to finish, it's about a 28-day total.
Okay.
Each time we do a batch of beer, we create roughly around 22,000 bottles.
Wow.
So we'll do that process 3 times a day, 7 days a week. We don't really have any preservatives in the beer, no additives, no pasteurization. So what we do is, there's a 3-month shelf life on the beer.
3 months?
3 months.
Oh, that's really.
But if you add preservatives or you pasteurize, it would last about a year on the shelf, but it compromises the flavor of the beer.
Oh, okay.
So 3 months is all we get. So we're only in Canada. We just got coast to coast so far in Canada.
Really?
So not anywhere else. We're Canada's Pilsner, so we're starting off by just mastering all of Canada first.
Oh, perfect.
All right. We want to be known as the greatest beer you can get in Canada. Not necessarily the biggest one, but we want to be known as, if you think of Canada with the best beer you can get in Canada, we want Steam Whistle Pilsner to be that beer.
Okay.
And we're well on our way. So we're coast to coast in Canada now. We're at the top of the territories as well.
Oh,
right. So we started our first beer come to line in the year 2000.
That's pretty new.
Yeah, I'm 16 years old. So it all started with 3 guys that used to work at another company before, another brewery. It was called Upper Canada. And in the mid-90s, what happened was it eventually got bought out by a larger conglomerate. And there was a canoe trip they did every summer at Algonquin Park in Canada. And they decided to continue this tradition even though everyone was basically fired from there. And there was a few people left at the campsite this one night, and these three guys said, you know what, we could restart this brewery again and create the same things we had, the same culture we had, and have the same amount of fun. And they were all just sort of bored with their old day-to-day jobs, so they decided to start this brewery up. So the original name of this company was the Three Fired Guys Brewery. And so if you take a look, actually, maybe we'll get a better light over here. I want to show you something. So on every single bottle, you'll see a little embedment there that says 3FG on there.
Oh, okay.
And that,
That's what it stands for.
Three Fired Guys. That's exactly what it stands for.
It.
So they kind of remember they came from, and so they changed the name from Steam Whistle to Steam Whistle because they want to have a sort of 50s kind of mindset. They wanted the old building, the old aesthetic. They also wanted to have a steam whistle go off every day, and that would kind of be just signify the end of the workday. You're there to reward yourself, and that's what beer's all about, right? So steam whistle kind of captures that whole thing as far as the golden era brew making and it's sort of simpler times back then. So that's why we focus on just the one beer. Our model is to do one thing really, really well, and we're happy to do it. So let's go check out the factory area here. So this is where I do all the draft right here. We have 3 different sizes of kegs. We've got a 50 liter, a 30 liter, and a 20 liter. And so the 50 liter holds about 146 bottles in it, inside of one. So we give what's called a home delivery service, which you can come to your house, we can set you up with a portable draft system. We'll give you cups, ice, and everything. And then if you're having a party, you give us a call, we'll show up. You can invite the driver to have a little party with you as well.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
A little weird. Well, a little weird in the morning, but whatever, we got to do it before, right? So. The bottle itself is actually very environmentally friendly. We can reuse this bottle upwards to about 55 times because it's 35% more glass in that bottle. So it's actually an exact replica of what a 1950s beer bottle was in Canada way back in the day. So we actually got it from a collector, and we decided, 3 Fire Guys, we're like, this is going to be the one we're going to use. So yeah, we have the 35% more glass in it. So it's one of those things where it costs us more money in the beginning to make the bottle, but we actually save money in the end because of the sustainability in that, and we can reuse it so many times. So it's one of those things we like to tell people that sustainability can be profitable as well. So it's not just about we built a high quality packaging. We put extra money into our packaging to make sure people are, when you buy a case of our beer, when you take it back, the bottle's back to the beer store. It's the same condition you got it in. So over packaging, it's again. No secret to the success. We've had good customer service and a high quality product, and that's pretty much what it is. So we definitely didn't want to go to the norm and have a regular standard brown bottle. The 3 Fire Guys decided to take a look at all the old 50s sort of stuff, all the stubby bottles, all that kind of stuff. And they went to a collector, and this guy had about hundreds of them. And they saw this one, and it was a kind of what they imagined as like 50s kind of standard, enjoying some beers after work, reward yourself, and that was like sort of the great iconic 50s bottle. So as you can see too, there's no paper label on it, it's baked on, so our bottle is our bottle. So on a given day, we're going to clean and wash about 12,000 bottles an hour. We can get everything out of the bottle, cigarette butts, lemons, limes, all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to clean, so it takes about 20-25 minutes, very thorough cleaning process. It's going to get inspected, and then it's going to come on the other side. It gets filled over there, which we'll see in a second. Bottle's been cleaned and filled. It's going to go into one of these suction cups here. It's got 24 of them. It picks 24 bottles up, goes into one 24 pack, 2 12 packs, or 4 6 packs, okay? Shipped on down the line. It's manually closed at the top of the box. It's stacked up onto a skid, and then it's wrapped up into the cooler and ready to go. And of course, once the beer is completed for the day, and once we're done our job for the day, we go pull the stickers.
Okay.
So, when we pull that, that's the end of the workday, right?
Oh, really?
And then we grab a beer, and then we go to our lovely staff patio, which is right here.
Oh, this is just that patio?
There's only staff down there.
All right.
So these guys are finished for the day, enjoying a beer.
melhor parte do dia é quando você faz isso.
When the 3 Fire Guys came in, they found this out. This is perfect for a brewery. But this sort of painting actually describes really what happened back in the day. So they used the turntable outside there, and they would turn the trains into one of these bays, and they would fix the locomotives up and send them back out in the country. And so they really were the locomotives that helped pioneer our nation. They go across Canada, but eventually they didn't need trains as much anymore, and so it got decommissioned. So, but yeah, so there's 32 of the little bays in total, and steam whistle occupies the first 14.
okay.
And then in the middle is the railway museum, so they hold on to the heritage and stuff. So these pictures here are just
the cars.
yeah, all the vintage cars we've either had or do have now. So again, going with that sort of 50s sort of theme, we got really old cars. So a lot of these can drive around the city, or we go across the country with them.
Some of them.
Did you? Yeah, they basically we can show up to different charity events or parties, and we can pour beer right off the side of the truck.
Oh, that's great.
Like the steam machine actually pours beer off the side of it.
That's
We have a party bus that we take people around. We also use this for staff functions as well.
That's great.
Chuckles is an old milk truck. And Retro Electro, a really interesting car, is actually the country's first bullfrog powered vehicle where it actually is completely 100% electric. And it's vintage.
Uau, isso é bem legal. Cerveja e carro, as duas coisas que os homens mais adoram. Meninas, vocês viram o Shane aqui atrás de mim, ele é bem bonitão. Se vocês quiserem vir aqui nesse ou fazer um tour, procurem por eles que vocês vão ser muito bem tratadas.
These two guys are still with the company today, and then this guy actually lives in Australia. So he had made a promise to his wife many years ago that he'd move down there, so he's not fully in the company anymore, but still a big part of it. But these two guys are here day to day, and yeah, they're still here. So this is their dream, many years ago, and it's sort of coming to life now. And the idea was to be Canada's Pilsner, and they want to be again one of the best known beers in Canada, and it's sort of starting to happen, which is really great. And we just want to be a respected company, and we do a lot of great things for the environment, a lot of great initiatives for the community. So we do lots of stuff in the community, and it's not just about being the biggest brewery in the world. It's just about being a good company that cares, being very Canadian, true to our roots. So that's what these guys wanted from the beginning. So
yeah, and I love the motto.
do one thing
really, really well.
That's
yeah,
it.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Just focus on the one beer. So these guys learned a lot of lessons way back when they got fired from Upper Canada. And one of the things they learned was that we're not going to make 20 different types of beer. It's too confusing for the consumer and stuff, so they decided just to focus on the one. And then maybe if they want something down the road, they would try, but then they realized this is what they're known for, and we're going to stick to that, so.
Esse tour tá bem legal, a gente aprendeu tudo sobre a cerveja, sobre esse whistle com o Shane. E aí a gente vai mostrar agora pra vocês alguns dos carros, daqueles carros que a gente viu lá em cima, eles estão estacionados aqui atrás. Então a gente vai ver alguns dos carros da Steam Whistle que são bem legais, são carros antigos, carros cheios de personalidade.
So this is Chuckles, our old milk truck. Oh, I think 1952, I believe. That's a guess. I don't know for sure.
50 something.
50 something.
Right.
It's from 50.
That's a pretty nice car.
So you just set it up and it'll...
Wow.
So you got beer, fresh beer. Beautiful car. And this one here. So this is called the Steam Weaver.
Steam Weaver.
Yes. So it's more of a kind of a 70s kind of vibe to it, right? But yeah. That's Retro Electro.
Oh.
This is the electric vehicle. 100% electric powered.
Wow. Okay.
First of its kind.
Toronto é uma cidade feita para as pessoas e principalmente para os ciclistas, não é uma cidade feita para carros. E como tem muita bike aqui, uma das iniciativas da Steam Whistle, que é muito preocupada com a sustentabilidade e tudo mais, são esses stations, esses lugares onde você pode consertar sua bicicleta e também encher o seu pneu. Então você vem aqui, tem todos os tools que você precisa para consertar sua bike. E você, simplesmente de graça, sem precisar pagar nada, você vem aqui, conserta, depois você vem aqui, enche seu pneu e vai embora para casa tranquilo com a sua bike. Eles têm esse ponto aqui e eles têm esse repair station em vários outros lugares do Canadá. Então, quem quiser consertar a bike, é só vir aqui. Esse foi o tour que a gente fez com o Shane, que fez esse tour maravilhoso. A gente está encerrando aqui o nosso tour da Steam Whistle hoje, mas quando vocês vierem para Toronto, não deixem de vir conhecer a Steam Whistle, porque não dá para encontrar no Brasil nem em nenhum outro país, porque é só aqui de Ontário, só do Canadá como um todo.
Por
mas
enquanto.
Aqui é o lugar mais legal para vocês provarem.
So make sure to come visit Fizemos whenever you are in Toronto, Canada, okay? Thanks a lot.
Thank you, bye bye.